Здравствуйте, мои друзья. Как дела? Меня зовут Марk. Добро пожаловать в мой салон. Сегодня, today is Maintenance Day, Armory Day. Everybody should know how to what? Maintain your swords. It's very important to know how to do this in order to make them last. We're going to go over maintenance of both the scabbard and the blade. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, to do proper maintenance on a sword, there's three types of oil we're going to need. Starting from the left, the neat's foot compound or neat's foot oil is used upon the leather. We have 3-in-1 oil or light machine oil, which is what you're going to use on your blade and to sharpen. And for last but not least, but very important, for the wood on your handle, you're going to go ahead and use boiled linseed oil. So those are the three that you're going to need. Now remember, this is really important, that with your boiled linseed oil, after you use it, to make sure that you take those rags, put them outside, lay them flat till they dry out. Do not put them in the trash or they will start a fire. Very important to remember, a little fire safety thing. Alright, so let me show you step one. So very important that we start off with our neat's foot oil. We use a separate rag. We do not mix rags. Each rag gets used for its own purpose. Here I am with the neat's foot compound or neat's foot oil. Okay. This is what gets put on the leather. This keeps your leather alive. It keeps it from drying out and cracking. That way you can have this for years and it will be in good shape and you can pass it along to your grandchildren. Be able to do this, it'll dry out and crack. And then you'll be like, wow, I have to get it repaired. Where do I find somebody? We use a different oil for the metal. That's where the light machine oil comes in. It's real important that you get your sling too. Don't forget to get your sling as well as your sheath. The outside of it, this again is neat's foot oil. It's a leather compound for leather preservative. It keeps your leather alive. It doesn't smell funny. This is something we in the fire service use for our boots. They'll sell it as boot oil. It's actually really important. It makes your leather last for years. I have a 20-year-old pair of fire boots that I have maintained by doing this process by keeping it clean. So again, we want to make sure we get both sides, that we apply it evenly, and then that we do this at least monthly, so that way, down the road, this will be something your grandchildren will go, wow, it's in great shape. So this is what you're supposed to do. This is just one part of the maintenance. Now we're moving to the next part of the maintenance using the light machine oil on the Brightwork. Brightwork being, it can be brass, it can be chromed, it can be copper, whatever they use. In this case it's brass. This needs to be oiled with a light machine oil, make it so it doesn't corrode. If you want your stuff to last, you have to go ahead and do maintenance. This should be done monthly. Again, make it a habit. Once a month, sit down on a Saturday or Sunday, take an hour out of your life, and make sure that you take care of your sword. And so your scabbard is all nice and clean now. This is the way it should be. Let me put this aside. Then we'll move to our blade. So before we move to sharpening, to take our blade, inspect it, do a visual on it, wipe it down, keep your fingers off the edge of the blade, make sure it's good and clean. Look for any signs of rust. Make sure it's in good shape. It's not bent, no damage. Now, we wiped that off, and now we can get ready to sharpen. It'll be wiped again. So, that's the wiping down of the blade. Let me show you the handle next. So this is the handle of the blade. You can see it here in my hand. Now I'm going to use, this is linseed oil. I'm putting it on with a paintbrush, and I will wipe it down with a cloth afterwards. This is so that I put an adequate amount of linseed oil This oil here is what's going on now, not anything else, so that it will preserve the wood. That way, years from now, the moisture will still be in this, and this will still be viable. This will also help prevent moisture getting into the wood and causing rust down underneath the blade over time. So, now this is good and oily, but before we do anything else, we want to make sure to wipe it off. Like I said before, use a paper towel. Wipe all of this down very carefully. Stay off your blade so you don't cut yourself. Remember, your blade is sharp. Now my handle has been oiled properly. And I'm preserving it. That's very important. I'm also looking at it. I'm checking my pins, making sure they're solid. I'm looking for any separation on the back here. And the other side of the pins. So my handle is solid, the workmanship is good, and that way when I use it again, it will be safe. Now, two things I got going here. I have an 800 grit hard Arkansas stone and a 1200 grit surgical sharpening stone. Okay, so this is first, that is second, and I use oil. So I'm going to be sharpening the blade and drawing it across to make sure that I get my blade good and sharp before I put it away. Alright, so I start from the back of the blade and use the edge of the table to kind of line this up, feel my roll, where the edge is. I want to make sure it's even. I want to draw this nice and even. Just like that, just nice and slow. Take your time. Keep count. Feel like 5 and 5. It's number 3. Okay, so that's one side down. I gotta do the other side now. So now we're moving to the 1200 grit surgical stone. Keep even pressure, and just as you get to the end, pick it up. Wipe the blade, stay away from the edge with your fingers. I want to make because you will be off to get surgery, get your fingers repaired. So, you can see now, blade has been sharpened, so it's ready to be put away. I usually check mine with a piece of paper. Basic paper test, like that. There you go. An important part of martial arts is maintaining your equipment, knowing how to maintain it, especially if you're using swords. So today I've covered the basics on maintenance. You should do this monthly, make sure your blades are ready to go, and that way when you cut, it's nice and enjoyable. Thanks for watching. You know what I say, do svidania and na zdorowie. So goodbye and to your health, and until next time. Увидимся завтра. See you tomorrow. All right.